transforming the urban landscape using an AI kind of lens to look at the future of smart cities. Let's just start with a bit of sort of a quick fire opening so you can hear a bit more about what these three individuals do, what their businesses are. But, not going into too much detail, but I'm going to start perhaps with Alex down at the end of the line. What do Realist and Titleman actually do for a user today? Where is this style of AI-driven interaction heading? Short, sharp, and then we'll get into the discussion.
Sure, thanks. In a lot of conference, people speak about AI now. Every corner about AI. Right? But what we want from AI. So literally we want to save the cost, we want to increase margin, or we want to work less, literally, or make it faster. Can I do a small social experiment? Who of you wants to work more?
Who wants to work more? Are you willing
could you please
to put
raise
up
the
your
hand
hands?
that you want to work more?
I don't see any hands, Alex.
Maybe it's about translation, no? Nobody, right? So AI can save a lot of time for us. So AI makes the work done that we can do. So my company is just making AI in one interface that you can tell what you want in real estate anywhere in the world, in any language, in any task. Find you a plot of land for building the villa, find you a hotel to buy, find your apartment for rent, any type of task. You just say to AI what you want. This AI goes to all these databases. So you have seen a lot of companies with platforms, databases, etc. So why we need to use all these platforms if we can ask AI to go to all these platforms, take the data, analyze it, come back to you and give you the result in 10 minutes.
Okay.
It's going to save you time.
So saving time, efficiencies, working less, that's what Alex is all about. Alyssa, you're all about spaces that can help inform our decisions and guide behaviors. Can you just tell us a little bit about how you're doing that, maybe with an example from one of the projects that you work on?
Yeah, thank you, Miriam. In Voice of Space, we believe that all the physical environments should act as the behavioral interface, let's say like this. Yeah. So actually, when the space is designed intentionally, they not only host the activities, they form the activities and measure it. I would love to share maybe one example from our project that we do with the Donetsk Technical University. We create the science park that is going to be co-developed also with the Zaha Hadid architects. And there we implement the, actually what is our core of Voice of Space, the spatial impact strategy. This strategy defines the way how these spaces can become the most powerful and what is also the most important, the most constant, the only one constant tool of communication and tool of impact. Just to share an example, in such a science park, we are going to have one of the solutions is the wayfinding system, actually the phygital portals through which we can navigate people at the territory, and we can also encourage them to interact with these portals. Okay. And here, from one hand, we have a lot of data about the dwell time, about the quantity of people, about the way how people interact, how they learn. We can refine the spaces based on this data, but also from other hand, we have the narrative and identity streaming through these touch points of interaction. Okay. And this is something that add another meaning. With these spaces become both the stories and the feedback loop, let's say like this.
Amazing. So really creating and embedding that into the space itself. Fascinating work. And Michael, so tell us a bit more about Enzo. I know it's a fascinatingly different style of co-living. Can you talk to us about how you're building community in a new way?
Well, thank you, Miriam. It's a pleasure to be here. For us, we have 700 units all over Europe, the US, Mexico, and hopefully we can open Riyadh soon. What we do, our mission is to convert properties into fully living experiences. This way, for us, has transformed actually the price of the square meter. and has increased more than 50% the price of it. But I will tell you more about that after. What we do when we create communities here is we select who is going to live in these properties. When we select, when we choose, what we create is a curated community. A curated community that's something that people is willing to pay for.
Yeah.
How we do this, we don't want someone to send us the salary statement, how much money they make. We don't care about that. We care about the person. We care about who this person is and what they're going to give to the community. So when we do this, we really create value.
Amazing. So let's start at that point, because I think with all of these conversations we've had over the last couple of days, we keep coming back to human first. Regardless of what the technology is and what it can do, doesn't always mean that the technology should do. So from that perspective, and Michael, I'll just stay with you for a moment. You know, you've got such a strong belief, haven't you, that, you know, the value is really created when we stop thinking about price per square meterage and we start thinking about the premium perhaps that people will pay for an experience. How have you reached that conclusion? How are you seeing the results? How can you prove it to us?
Well, there's a very important value we have in Enso is we are data-driven. We work with that. Since we started in 2018, we have had more than 100% occupation in all of our units. More than 100%. It means if someone will leave on the day 16, but they will pay the whole month. On the day 17, there will be someone else in the building.
Paying the whole month as well, I imagine.
Yeah. So more than 100%. And we have overperformed the price of the market by 50%. How do we get this? First of all, we care about flexibility. And actually, there is a very important part for Riyadh here for flexibility. I heard that in many cases, the landlord always wants 6 months in advance of the rent.
Yeah.
This is something that happens, but this lowers the money that the tenant is willing to pay for every month.
Yeah.
So offering the flexibility on money and also on time. How long do you want to stay? Do you want to stay 3 months, 6 months, 2 years? The operator is willing to deal with the tenant and the property owner and can create a bigger value. Also, the comfort. We understand what the people that are going to come with us want to live, like what they want to have in their living rooms, how they want their spaces to be. We understand them thanks to the data, and we prepare them exactly how they want it.
Yeah.
And last is the community. So I was saying this is one of the most important parts. And we did an experiment, but you usually are not willing to pay 10 times more for a space if the space is very well decorated. However, if you will live in the same building as maybe Cristiano Ronaldo, you will pay 10 times more for the rent, right? So community is very important.
Yeah,
we need
absolutely.
to believe that. We need to grow with that.
Yeah, amazing. Yes, it's about recognizing where value exists, I suppose. What are people willing to pay for? And that's
Correct.
what you're tapping into. And Elisa, you're very human-led as well, kind of very much centric around that idea about if we can work out exactly what people want, let's give the people what they want and design our spaces accordingly. So tell us a little bit more about this thing you call phygital drivers. I know that, you know, that's about how you go about creating and designing those spaces.
Yeah, thank you so much for this question. Phygital drivers. Actually, this is not about, when we say phygital, it's not about adding more screens all around the spaces.
No.
It's about the adding of the meaning when every digital tool, every sensor, every screen, etc., they have, let's say, behavioral reason to exist in the spaces. For example, one of our projects we designed for one of the biggest Ukrainian pharmaceutical company. This is the healthcare space with the different functions, including the educational, expositional, and event spaces. And all these spaces, they encourage people to adopt the healthy habits in their life. And here we have solutions, for example, the solution with the interactive, we say touch points of interaction. These touch points of interaction, these are these drivers. It could be, in this case, these are the interactive walls where you have physical actions that you should do, the space guide you through these actions, and also you have the digital rewards for this. For example, you can learn through the scanning of some elements of these interactive walls, you can learn about sustainable products, or you can take part in the healthy challenge, in which you should do some actions in this space, and you can also have this continuation through the digital tools.
Yeah.
What is important that in all these actions, in all such space, you have multisensory experience. And this multisensory experience is not only generator of the data that we can use in different ways, but also this is about the building of emotional connection.
Okay.
Because these people, when they come to the space, they enrich their knowledge, they get inspired by this concept that we put inside this, again, the narratives that we stream, and also they participate. They not just visit, they participate, and with this they build this emotional connection. And this makes difference, as I said, it's not digital, it's not about adding more technologies.
Sure.
We use different technologies, but it's about the adding of the meaning and about building this emotional connection that, with which all the data sharing become like the byproduct of the purpose for
Amazing.
which
Yeah,
people
fantastic. Yeah, I love
do
that.
this.
Yeah, data
Yeah.
is almost a byproduct, which is great. And Alex, obviously you rely hugely on data, and even though, you know, we've been joking and calling you Mr. AI, and your solutions are very much about AI, they're still end user focused, aren't they? I mean, you've got to make sure that the data you're interrogating is giving the user what they actually want and need. Talk to us about that.
Yes. So I have seen a lot of conversations about AI for the past 8 years. 8 years ago, nobody had spoken about AI at all. So now everything is AI. Even where AI, you don't need it, it should be AI. So like every place, it's like AI component exists. What AI really makes and what people want to make more money, work less, cost less, and get the best quality and faster. That's what they want. What is AI in general? It's a piece of software that could do the work as human, like quality as human. That's all. It's a kind of very smart calculator, but has no limitation, right? And now it's evolving very fast. So first, in 2, 3, 4, maximum 5 years, everything is going to be AI approved. If
AI approved?
AI
you say?
approved.
AI
If it's not
approved.
AI approved, government will not act, people will not buy. Everything is going to be AI approved.
So you really believe that the data and the experience that the AI is interrogating will be worth everything to somebody to make a decision? based on?
100%. AI is already the smartest guy in the room right now. If you just bring people like together and ask GPT is going to be smarter than 99.999% people in the room.
I mean,
Frankly
that's a bold
speaking.
statement.
That's true. And in 2 years, GPT and general AI is going to be smarter than 100% people in this earth. And what people want, they want some solutions very fast. They want to not work at all and still living a great life. That's what people want, right? And how people can trust this data and how people can trust AI. So usually if you ask some founders in the AI space what data you use and why we should trust, people are going to say like, I use 1,000, 10,000 sources, government, blah, 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 a lot of sources. How to test it? You just go and ask some specific AI what you really need, what you really know. So in my case, once people test my AI, the first thing they do, they go and type the address they live, and AI gives them the rental estimation, price estimation, and some recommendations should they make repairment, to sell it, whatever. And in few minutes. And if they see what they expected to see, they trust AI instantly from this moment.
So confirmation bias is
Yes.
what you're saying.
Nobody cares about 1,000 sources, 10,000 sources, etc. Or the human just got the result right now in 10 minutes or not. That's the main confirmation.
Okay, so you talk about smart, and I'll just stick with you for a moment, but in your opinion, therefore, what underpins the smart city of the future? Because, you know, this is what we're kind of here to discuss, this idea about real estate, smart, AI drivers. What does a smart city look like in your perspective?
In smart city, a lot of stuff doing the work for you. So literally some robots taking the waste from the streets, right? It just delivering the value instantly. So it's cheaper to live in the city with the best quality than other cities. It's a smart city by definition, because all these technologies made it happen that it's cheaper with a high quality. That's all. So if it's faster, cheaper, or giving you more margin, more profit, it's smart by definition.
Okay, so for you, cheaper, faster, more profit makes it smart in the sense that it's kind of
Yes.
clever. Okay, but not smart necessarily that it's all been digitalized.
This only are objective things,
Okay.
to measure it.
Okay, so starting with this data and trust. I mean, Alyssa, I wouldn't necessarily think you 100% agree with Alex's opinion here, but you definitely would agree on the point about meaningful data and how important it is to feed the AI with that meaningful data. So do you want to just talk a little bit about wayfinding and how that's integrated into your projects?
Yeah, sure. I would love to share about this. Actually, this is one of the integral part of the approach.
Do we have
Is
Alyssa's
my
microphone?
microphone
Yeah,
working?
perfect. Yeah, you just
can
need to go close. Good.
Perfect. Thank you. Maybe I can. I would love to share with you with this approach of how we create the spatial impact strategy, because wayfinding it's one of the system of navigation and interaction in the spaces. We have actually 3 levels. The first one is the level of the physical level, let's say.
Yeah.
This is the level at which we create the spaces with the signage, with the wayfinding solutions that navigate people in the space and also encourage them to different actions.
So it's like signposting in that sense, is it?
Yes, but actually this is the simplest way, because the wayfinding, I already showed an example with the portals
yes.
through which you can also pass and with which you can interact.
Yeah.
The solutions could be very different. It's very important that there is the big idea behind the project, the main narrative and identity. This is something that is like a glue for any kind of solution. This is, I'm very, I love what our speakers also, co-panelists say, especially Mikhail, what you say about the community building. This is the base for any project with which we work, because when we can build community for innovation parks, for science parks, for community development centers, for projects for aviation university with the museums, etc. So different types of projects, they will be successful when you know how to build the community around the big idea behind it. And very often in different projects, the big idea is not so visible if you don't have, for example, a presentation or a person who can share it with you.
Of course.
The wayfinding system and other touch points of interaction in the space, this is the link to the main narratives that are important for people and that encourage people to some actions. So actually the first level is physical one. The second is digital. It means that we have the QR codes, we have AR content, we have the motion sensors and other solutions that help us measure and catch actually engagement. And the third level is analytical one. And this one, it's not only about analyzing of the data and refining the solutions and using them for the next development of this community and spaces, both. But also this stage starts even in advance, because the development of spatial impact strategy, we start with the creation of this narrative and identity. Amazing. And this is the base on which after each level like goes one by one, and also part of the system, part of the strategy is the framework for the impact measurement. So when we have all these spaces already functioning, we can measure all these impacts based on the data and the behavior of people in these spaces. And we can also encourage people to have some specific behaviors.
Amazing.
We have the project in Milan about the sport, it's the student housing with the sport and recreational territory,
Yeah.
where the main goal is to encourage young people to have the sport habits as the lifestyle, and with this, develop the healthy nation. So
Yeah.
with such big ideas, we can work and implement different solutions that are also important for different companies and for their success and profitability as well. So everything is interconnected.
Absolutely. I mean, Michael, you don't call it wayfinding or digital, but is this how you're designing your communities, in the sense that you're finding these touch points, you're using data to inform what these spaces look like? Is that something that's kind of front of mind for you?
I mean, what we need is information. If AI can generate better information, we're always looking for that. If you want to go in this line, for me, the most important part on generating information will be first listening to the people.
Yeah.
What do they have to say? Most of the time we try to analyze every different aspect of technology that we can implement in the new spaces. But sometimes we forget to ask, what do you really want? And you people that are here, you live in the spaces. You know what you want, right? I know it too. So why I don't ask for it? That's, I think, should be the first rule. Forget a little bit about analysis and all the data in the world that all this, temperature or cameras or all the vision, that the information that AI works with, and start asking ourselves, what do we want? What do we want in our spaces? We want more privacy? Do we want to share more spaces? We want to have more, events organized in the afternoon? Do you guys play football in the afternoon? Do you want someone to organize this for you? This is what you need to wonder, right? With AI, when we ask this question to the people, we can get better results and understand them better. That's what we do with AI.
Yeah. So how are you using AI to integrate sort of your community management services?
For me, probably the first thing is we have 700 rooms, and we only have 2 people on the sales department, because we have an AI agent that is selling the rooms. Sometimes, and this is something that happens, we spend maybe a tenant wants to rent one of the spaces, and our agent, like the person, will last 2 hours in response. However, when you have an AI agent, the next second that someone asks a question, you can reply. When this happens, the conversion is way higher. So having an AI agent is going to help a lot. In the community sector, we only have also 2 people for another 700 rooms, 700 people living with us. And we don't need more. Actually, there are many cases, and this is very important, where right now, I don't know if the smartest person in the world is AI, because for most of the cases, I need people to interact with these users, right? I need people that ask, what is going on? How are you feeling? This is good for you? Do you feel safe at home? Do you want this? Do you want that? This is still happening. The 80% of the conversations that the tenants have with us are through the AI agent. But there is corner cases. There is this 20% that we still cannot work with AI, at least at Enso. We're looking forward for the AGI, so we have a smarter AI that I think is the next generation, right? Where we can really maybe even transform, and we don't need someone to say, we don't even need people in the team to work with it, but so far we need people on it.
Alex, you're laughing. Is this because you agree or disagree
With what?
with what's being said?
He said a lot.
But he was talking about AI needing to become smarter to truly be able to help us determine and inform our communities in the smart cities of the future. So what's your perspective on that?
So real AI works like magic. I know probably in this country magic is prohibited. I'm not sure. Like, you know, Harry Potter magic.
I'm sure we're allowed to have Harry Potter, aren't we? Harry Potter's okay?
It's already allowed. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Okay, so the real AI should work like magic. Real.
Seamlessly, behind the scenes, invisibly.
No, better. It should make something that you didn't expect. You ask for something, and AI brings you that you didn't expect, you didn't think about it, because AI has much more data than you. That's why it should work like magic.
So you're talking about these wow moments.
Yes, and you should show it. So once you have AI inside your businesses, like, you don't say about it, you just give it to people, and if they're shocked, it works, right? If they say, I don't care, I'm going to speak with GPT, what you can do, right? So in this world, you should be much better than GPT.
So you're looking for proof points?
Kind of.
Kind of?
Yeah.
Okay, Alex is being cagey over here, not quite sure if you're looking for a proof point or a wow moment. What's most important, do you think, in terms of people really integrating solutions that make a difference to their users?
I can share my experience,
Yeah,
okay?
please.
I was developing for 8 years AI for real estate space. I'm the guy who connected 130 cities across the globe from thousands of sources into one platform. And 2 years ago, I discovered that nobody cares about the platform.
No one cares about the platform?
Yeah, nobody wants to work with platform, with this AI, like model inside. Everybody wants to have chat or voice and just ask, I want to buy apartment in São Paulo, the best. Find me literally the best possible. And they want the result. That's what they expect. They don't want to go these platforms, all these filters, trying to speak with AI, etc. They want AI does the work.
Okay.
And if they see the result, they are so amazed and they will never come back to the old world. And that's what's happening.
So your view of an AI-driven urban future is that the AI can serve the result that is expected by the consumer?
No, literally AI can do any type of task, any. You want to understand what plot of land in Riyadh you need to find to build the hotels? You just ask AI, I want to build a hotel, find me all the best plots of land, free on the market, off market, in all brokers' charts, whatever. Estimate me a price of building, estimate me what is going to be the price of the rent, estimate me everything, and find me the best ROI now. And after 1 hour, you have the full report about the city. This is the magic.
I feel like, I don't know, that feels a bit transactional for me. I mean, Alyssa, is that how you would imagine the smart city, the utopian smart city of the future? Is it about asking a question, getting a result, or is there more to it than that?
I fully agree that AI will change all this way to generate all the using of the data and how we get the information, etc. So in all the, we see it, these changes in all industry, in every sphere of our life. I would like to, when we're thinking about the cities of the future, you know, I'm working on this topic of I have my personal motto. I'm creating the cities of the future as Alisa, as the one. Yes, yes.
Cities of the future.
I would like to pay your attention to the fact that through the times, the technologies, they evolve and they change, but the spatial impact, this is something that is constant.
Okay.
That what we will have in the future, the impact of the spaces, physical spaces in which we are. They could be, we can add the interaction with different technologies, and these spaces could be developed with the using of the AI tools and different technologies that maybe appear further, but at the same time, these physical spaces, they influence us constantly.
So the
that's why
analog world you're talking about?
I consider the analog world as the window to the digital world, let's say, because to come to have some interaction with the digital tools, even now with what we use, the different information at the bots, websites, at the AR technologies, etc., we need some driver that will push us to use it. And the best driver is the physical space. But what I want to say that, in every kind of projects, when we speak about the impact of the spaces, there is also the topic of the legacy.
Legacy, yeah.
Yes,
Talk about legacy,
legacy.
Alyssa. Yes,
Yes.
I love legacy. I think here in Riyadh especially, there's a lot of talk about legacy, building something that's going to last, that's going to honor heritage, that's going to have an impact way into the future. So I'd love to hear your perspective on that.
Exactly for this, we need this understanding of how the space will influence people in long-term perspective. And this is about the legacy. When we design the spaces, so legacy is not only about the monuments.
No.
When we see now how, when something is so constant that we can see these spaces through the times in 10 years and decades in more time, we also should understand that society is changing, technologies are changing, and it means that this space should evolve with keeping this legacy, with keeping the message from the past that we want to memorize and want to have, but at the same time it should evolve together with the community. We have several projects about the community development centers, where we work with the building of the community and development of the community and through the spaces where they come, but also with this idea of legacy that should be recreated through the interaction of the people, human, with these spaces. They co-participate, they co-create the space, and with this they leave this legacy for years further.
Oh, co-creation, that's an amazing
Yes.
thing. And let's keep on this idea of creation. Michael, like if you had your dream utopian scenario, someone handed you an apartment block and said, here you go, here are another 30 units, design, do as you will. What does that look like? How do you make sure that sort of smart and human go hand in hand?
Yeah. First thing I will make sure is that it's not a spaceship.
It's not a spaceship.
It's not a spaceship. It has to feel like a home.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a screen in my living room shining the whole night like sometimes happens in some hotels, right? So you cannot even sleep. You want to feel in a place where you feel safe, where you feel this comfort that the home brings you. So forget about a spaceship, forget about an hotel, right? It doesn't have to feel that convenient.
Okay.
It has to be more natural. Maybe you want to open the curtains in the morning. You don't want to see the number when you open the door, right? You don't want an hotel. You want a home.
Yeah.
So how we integrate, for example, AI, I love it. If we can really create, for example, digital twins of the whole building, the maintenance will be amazing.
Yeah.
Nothing will ever be broken because we will ever know and react before something happens. We're still not there, I think. Okay. And
Approved.
okay. But that's something that will help us a lot, right?
Yeah.
For me, I usually work with existing buildings.
Yeah.
We don't need a whole new building. What I will make sure if I will be a property owner is that I'm working with a manager like Enzo, for example, because this way you can really create a fully living space and not just stay on the square meters. That's what I will make sure to.
Interesting. Yeah. Alex, do you also think that people's homes and their environments are going to be as important in their futures, or do you think we'll be living in smaller, far more digitalized spaces because that's what people will be focused on?
Yes. So what I see what's happening real time. So first of all, that I very respect the guys, but it looks like in 3, 4, 5 years, you're not going to working directly with the customers. You're going to working with the AIs. So they will ask AI to do the work, and they will come to you, your AI, and you will not face with the customers face to face after 5 years. So it's going to be working with the AIs. or GPT, if they have something special or something general. This is the first thing. Second thing, if AI takes a lot of work, so we're going to lose a lot of jobs. That's for sure. So that's for sure. But if it's going to take a lot of jobs, the cost of production, cost of sales, cost of marketing, and everything is going to be dropped, right? Many, many times. It means that the cost of food, cost of living is going to be cheap. And if now in Riyadh, you need to make at least, I don't know, 10,000 SAR to live like a good life, probably without inflation, etc., in 5 years, you need just 1,000 to live like kind of good life with the food, delivery, and etc., because it's going to be much, much cheaper. Because the major cost is people inside the chain. And if we have AI that works for us, right, it's going to be much cheaper. It means that people will need less spaces because they will have less money, literally.
Interesting.
They have less money, they will ask less spaces, and once they, now day by day, they see how the magic works, and day by day, they are shifting to not do the work. Literally, if I ask today, guys, if you're gonna spend not 8 hours per day working, but 1 hour per day working, the same salary, who is gonna reject?
I mean, I think it depends. Human behavior is all very different, and it's going to be
Nobody.
very interesting to see.
Nobody will reject.
Well, I don't know. And Mikhail, I don't know if this resonates with what you're seeing. And even Antonio, you mentioned, oh, you've gone, but you mentioned about loneliness in cities. I wonder if we're going to see a pendulum swing to find a better balance. Mikhail, you've got an opinion about that?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, do you guys work out? Do some workout ever?
Yeah, people go.
Have
to
you
the
ever
gym.
watched like a video that you put of YouTube and you follow a workout and you just do it? Sometimes when I do it, in the end of the workout, I'm like, okay, I'm done. I don't like this. However, when I go with a personal trainer and he's behind me telling me, hey, let's do the next push-up. You can do it. Let's do it. And you feel the energy. It's completely different. So this emotion that the people give is important. I'm not saying everything is gonna.
We'll take it all.
Nah,
Artificial reality will take it all. The game
Not for
is
me.
much more interesting. The game is much more interesting than the reality.
I think we're going to see a big split in how people are wired and how people
Right,
generate
right.
those interests. So we've obviously got a very diverse panel here, which I love. We've got different ends of the spectrum, but just in closing. So Alex, I'm going to come to you first. So you see a future of AI-driven smart cities, which is all about the digitalization, the VR, the AR, the AI, all the tools, all the technologies, and our lives effectively become much more reduced in our physical spaces. Is that a fair summary of what your belief is?
Yeah, so only rich people will go out. So most of the human population will live in a very small apartments, using AI for delivery for everything, and living in VR, 100%.
Okay.
So
Interesting extreme
Only
perspective.
only three things that matter now: longevity, people want to live more; entertainment, people are gonna have too much time, so they need to do something;
Okay.
and AI.
I'm not sure.
Everything else solved by
I'm
this.
not sure I'd want to live longer if that was the extent of life, personally, but it's really interesting to have that extreme perspective. I'm going to come to Alyssa for your closing thoughts, because you are very much about the hand-in-hand, the phygital, the physical, the digital, how they interact, how you gather the data. What does that look like in a year, in 5 years for you?
Yeah, in 5 years, and actually I would like to share my key message that I believe that will be relevant in 5 years and further, that first of all our spaces, they become some kind of physical interfaces, let's say, and base for any technology that can influence our life in urban spaces, in cities, in the spaces, should be the spatial impact strategy that define how we influence through these spaces people, and what outcomes we can have and how we can measure it. And as Mikhail said, also he does not want to see, for example, the screen that is working all the time and streaming some information. It's very clear. So that's why for any digital solution must be the behavioral reason to exist in this space. Yeah. And of course, the spaces, this is the tool to have the legacy in long-term perspective. And this is for sure the tool of community building that could be the base for any kind of real estate project and any kind of city projects.
Community at heart. Michael, I'm going to leave the last word to you, following on from Elisa's perspective about community. But when you are thinking about building out Enzo, the kind of resilience of that model, where you see it going, just finish off with your thoughts on that.
I believe, like right now, you're wearing Gucci, Versace, or another brand. The first thing that will happen is that when you go to live to a place, you will choose the brand. Where do you want to live? So there's going to be different managers, different brands, and you will choose which one you want to be a part of. And I see AI and the cities like giving so much to the people, but we cannot forget that technology goes way faster than our brains. So we also need to slow down. And the way we're going to slow down is interacting with nature, with other people, and just being people. That's who we are, right? So I see hand in hand, technology and people, but there's also always going to be a line.
Amazing. So I know that these three are doing some amazing things with their projects. If anyone in the room is interested in finding out more, please do make the time to talk to them. If there are any investors here, I know that both Michael and Alex are always interested in expanding the reach of the communities and also the technologies that they're building. So take this opportunity to see how what they're doing might fit with some of your projects and your priorities. But above all, it's been fascinating to have a panel with people who really do carry very different views, and I think what it does is it goes to show that we still don't really know. We don't have a crystal ball for the future. We have to adapt and evolve as we go. We can have our perspectives and we can build towards them, and all I can say from this is let's hope that it is a bright future with technology that enables some sort of human community at its center, and let's see what that future looks like and be part of building it proactively. So I hope you enjoyed that conversation. I thought it was a fascinating insight. Please give a very warm round of applause to Alex, to Michael, and to Elisa. Thank you so much.